Tell say that Ikit Claw, chief warlock of Clan Skryre, master of the warp storm, flayer of forge master, Guruk blood tongue, butcher of Chickamacatzer, gutter of Yar Alfhild, demon kin, burner of Magister Klaus, Fontainehof, and Raiser of Helvigstad, and
from Chief Warlock Ikit Claw, as he presents his unnecessarily long and seemingly exaggerated list of names and titles. Ikit Claw, Chief Warlock Engineer of Clan Skryre, is one of the most ambitious and talented warlock engineers of his age, and the infamous right fang of Lord Morskitar, the one true ruler of Clan Skryre. Ikit Claw has taken Clan Skryre's mix of science and sorcery to new levels of complexity and depravity. Entire legions of skaven slaves have been blasted to bits in the name of Ikit's experimental new weapons. A small price to pay for the sheer power and killing might that Ikit has added to Clan Skryre's deadly arsenal. In his quest for knowledge, Ikit has traveled the world, stealing secrets from the mystics of Cathay, studying the dimension-spanning machines of Lustria, and toiling for years alongside the cruel forge masters of far-off Zarnagrund. Upon his return, Ikit found the warp forges of Clan Skryre woefully underdeveloped. It would take centuries to fully implement his grandiose changes. It was during the Great Civil War that Ikit seized his opportunity. As the newly assigned lead emissary of Lord Morskitar, the ruler of Clan Skryre, Ikit Claw ordered massive warp forges and unrivaled armories to be gnawed into the stone beneath Skavenblight. Infernal devices and diabolical weapons were soon being assembled on a level never before seen. Should nothing stop this mad tinkerat from continuing on his research, he may create a weapon so powerful and diabolical that it could threaten the very world to total annihilation. This fight fray is done over. Squick swear to serve me or join that fullmeat in death. Ikit Claw now commands this expedition. From Chief Warlock Ikit Claw, taking command of the Bone Stash expedition. Ikit Claw is one of the most powerful sorcerers in the old world, and he has dedicated his long life to the study of all forms of magic and science, including the spells and technology of men, elves, and dwarves. Over the decades prior to the Second Skaven Civil War, Ikit Claw travelled secretly to the far-flung corners of the Under-Empire. He visited distant Cathay to steal secrets from the ancient human mystics, and he rifled the buried vaults of Vorshgar in the northern wastes of Nagaroth. He risked the wrath of Clan Pestilence by journeying through the steaming jungles of Lustria and visiting the monolithic ruins which have stood there since the beginning of time. From his great journeying, Ichard Claw drew together an encyclopedic knowledge of the spells of the civilized races. When he returned to Skavenblight, Ichard Claw found his master and the other Lords of Decay teetering on the brink of civil war after the failure of Clan Pestilence's Red Pox in Bretonnia. Lord Morskitar had withdrawn to the Clan Scryer quarter of Skavenblight and was waiting for the inevitable collapse. Ichard Claw hastened to his side and stood ready. Sure enough, Clan Pestilence made an attempt to seize the council chamber, and fighting spilled over into Skavenblight. When the time was ripe, Lord Morskitar sent Ichard Claw to lead the Warlock Engineers to the temple, ostensibly to restore order. Ichard Claw's spells were unstoppable, and he swept the temple precincts clear of the battling factions with fiery blasts and hails of dark blades. Clan Scryer seized the temple in an unshakable grip, and Lord Morskitar emerged to declare himself ruler of Skavenblight. However, by this time, internecine fighting had spread throughout the Under-Empire, and no one was listening to even the mighty Lords of Decay anymore. Lord Morskitar ruled most of Skavenblight for several centuries, driving out the other clans from the lower tunnels and the other quarters of the city. Ichard Claw was his most trusted servant during this time, overseeing the great works of science and sorcery which Lord Morskitar set into motion. It was from these great experiments that Ichard Claw sensed the rising tide of dark magic that preceded the great Chaos Incursion before anyone else in the Under-Empire. And so it was that Lord Morskitar was prepared when the Grey Seers declared their intention to invoke the Horned Rat and end the war.
The Doom Sphere. I saw the thing with my own eyes. A great orb of steel, the size of a steamship, and packed with raw wordstone. Ichard Claw constructed his wordstone bomb over a fold running beneath Karak Azul. If he'd been able to unleash the power of his weapon, he could have precipitated an earthquake, the likes of which no dwarf has seen since the time of woes.
From Clarok Bronzehammer, describing Ichard Claw's terrible doom sphere. As Ichard Claw continues his
diabolical pursuit to create more murderous weapons of mass destruction,
the foolish Tinker Rat had unexpectedly created the first ever atomic bomb, a weapon the likes of which could literally see the entire world engulfed in nuclear fire. His first attempts of creating this infamous doom sphere was when he raided the hulls of Krakadrak, hoping to take many of the hull's engineers as slaves. Yet the valiant efforts of Master Engineer Clarak Bronzehammer, Ichard's progress has slowed considerably. Yet it was upon the quays beneath Karak Azul that his first true prototype of the Doom Sphere was finally created. But Clarak once more came and disrupted his efforts. In desperation, the foolish Tinkerat activated the machine, but its imperfect design saw the machine break apart and explode, though not as magnificently as it was designed to. Icked Claw survived the encounter, and after many years, the Tinkerat found another opportunity to create a newer and better Doom Sphere. Heading towards the dwarf hold of Karak Angul, Icked Claw stole his arch-nemesis Clarak Bronzehammer's newest and most improved metal alloy called Barazung. With this improved metal, Icked's latest Doom Sphere was sure to be magnificently destructive beyond imagination. Yet due to the valiant efforts of Clarak Bronzehammer and the dwarfs of Karak Ankul, the infamous Doom Sphere had once again been destroyed. In the final moments of that pivotal event, Icked Claw survived, and so long as he lives, the very fate of this world will forever be threatened by this half-mad Tinkerat. Now for his character. Mad? Mad? You squeak say I am mad? Yes, only mad would bring the Doom Sphere. Icked Claw is tall and white-furred, always a sign of distinction and power amongst the skaven. Like all members of Clan Skryre, he constantly tinkers and experiments with new weapons and devices, delighting in anything which brings harm to his foes. Latest amongst his many inventions is the Doom Wheel, a terrifying engine of destruction which has smashed its way through the serried ranks of dwarves, orc and human regiments with brutal precision. Icked's face and arm were badly burned in a failed experiment long ago. He has constructed an intricate mask to cover his mutilated and hairless skull, and a cunningly made skeletal claw of iron, crystal, and brass to give strength to his withered arm. The claw contains several of his more successful inventions, including a small warp fire projector. Icked Claw also bears Storm Demon, a hellish weapon he created in his own warpstone forges deep in the Undercity. Like many warlock engineers, Icked Claw is a mad Tinkerat, obsessed with the pursuit of technology. Yet unlike other warlock engineers, his madness and obsession has the potential to obliterate the entire world with a single push of a button. So committed is the chief warlock to prove his superiority to the world that he would go to any length to achieve his goals. One of his greatest goals is to create a weapon the likes of which would uplift the Chief Warlock's name beyond even Master Morskitar's own fame. In all practicality, the Chief Warlock is mad. So obsessed with his science and his technology, he didn't care what happened to the Under Empire so long as he could boast about unleashing the most destructive force ever known to ratkind. The claw would ruin all of Skavendom just so he could measure the power of his creation for all to bear and see. And to finish this up, 2 more quotes from the mighty Wicked Claw.
Yes, yes! The essence of the warp stone feeds my machine. To create, one must destroy. To destroy, one must create. This will be great best invention. Make force, all skaven, bow grovel. Destroy, kill all enemies.
And
I wouldn't kill me, Thankful. Don't think you can make the Doom Sphere work without me. If it has too little warpstone, the machinery will be ruined, and too much. The end. But remember, if you don't like and subscribe, I will find you and eat you alive.